Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Finance and Budget Delegated Committee for December the 9th. That's the first of our meetings of the new council for the Finance and Budget Delegated Committee. If I could call the meeting to order and invite Councillor Seymour to do an acknowledgement of country.
Thank you. Wodonga Council acknowledges Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people as the first peoples of the country. We also acknowledge them as the traditional owners and custodians across various lands. We pay our respect to their ancestors, elders, children and young people. We acknowledge the strength and resilience of all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples and recognise their continuous connection to lands, water and communities across the country.
Thank you, Councillor Seymour, which brings us to item 2, apologies and attendance. By electronic means, we have 2 apologies, Councillor Knight and Councillor Aldridge. Item 3 is declaration of conflict of interest. Councillors, are there any conflicts? No, none to be recorded, which then leads us to item 4, confirmation of minutes from the previous meeting. We've got a recommendation there before us. Would someone like to move? Thank you, Councillor Hall. And seconder, thank you, Councillor Quilty. No questions?
No, I don't believe so.
If that's the case, by show of hands, all those in favour? That's carried unanimously. Thank you very much. Which now brings us to item 5.1, which is the 2025 Finance and Budget Delegated Committee meeting dates. Councillor Quilty.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I will move almost as per recommendation with one correction. Monday, April 21st is Easter Monday, so I move to change this Tuesday, April 22nd, but otherwise as per recommendation.
Good. Thank you, Councillor Quilty, and thank you for that pickup. Can we have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Hall. Would anyone else like to speak to this? If not, if I could take it to a vote by a show of hands, all those in favour. That's carried and carried unanimously. Thank you very much. Which now leads us to item 5.2, September Quarterly Budget Report. Perhaps before going to councillors, if I invite Officer Dina Belkel to speak to item 5.2. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm pleased to present the September 2024 Quarterly Budget Report prepared in accordance with Section 97 of the Local Government Act 2020. This report incorporates significant improvements in our financial reporting, aligning with the annual financial report to enhance consistency, reliability and transparency. It provides a detailed comparison of our year-to-date performance against the 2024-25 budget and forecast. The report highlights that income and expenses are closely aligned with forecasts, with forecasted full-year underlying surplus of $776,000. These results indicate that operations are tracking as expected, supported by sufficient cash and liquidity to meet current liabilities and to fund ongoing operational and capital requirements. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Could I have, please, we've got a recommendation there before us. I'll move it to that recommendation. The Finance and Budget Delegated Committee recommend that Council endorses the September 2024 Quarterly Budget Report.
I'm happy to move as per recommendation.
Thank you, Councillor Quilty. Could I have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Hall. Would any councillors like to ask questions or speak to the motion?
I'll just briefly, since I've moved it, a good introduction, and I think it's all good summary in the report. It's good to see that the variations from budget are pretty small. However, it's useful to note that it's the first quarter of the financial year, so any year-to-date forecasts are a bit far removed from the end of the year. However, it's looking from other reports and briefings that we've had that we are well on track with the budget, and there is nothing here to cause my concern. Healthy cash balance that we have, a wholesome capital works program, so I'm happy to support it.
Thank you, Councillor Quilty. Any other councillors? No? If not, we can go to vote on the motion. All those in favour? Again, carried unanimously. Thank you. Agenda item 5.3, principles and assumptions. So just, I've got a recommendation there, but would a council like to perhaps move an alternative to that recommendation? And Deputy Mayor.
Thank you. Yes, I'd like to move that the motion be approved with a small change, and that the recommendation reads that the principles and assumptions for the 2025-26 financial plan, revenue and rating plan and annual budget be approved. The Financial Budget and Delegated Committee notes that further information will be provided on the integration of community consultation into the council plan.
Good. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. A seconder to that. Thank you, Councillor Seymour. And perhaps in the interest of having a discussion around this motion, perhaps if someone could move that we suspend standing orders to allow for a freer discussion. All those in favour? Suspending standing orders? Thank you, that's unanimous. Thank you very much. Deputy Mayor, would you like to speak to the motion at all?
Thank you. Yes, thank you to the staff for the comprehensive document that underpins the assumptions and outlines the principles that we will apply in developing our financial plan and annual budget and looking at our rates and revenue strategy. It's very comprehensive, and I think that we should take great comfort from the transparency that this provides to the community in reading through those sorts of underpinnings that goes into our deliberations in building these important documents. I will refer the councillors to the principle in page 7, where the budget must align with the council plan, and the assumption in page 21, where the integration with the council plan and asset management plan is part of the process that we hope to adopt. And in doing so, I will outline why I've made a small change to the recommendation before us, and that is to incorporate any community consultation that might go to the council plan to inform us in the deliberations for the development of these important documents moving forward. And certainly to highlight again the importance of a foundation that is community focused and has a touchstone into community, and that community feel a sense of ownership in the development of that process.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Any other councillors for comment, questions to our Manager of Finance, Brent Quill? Any questions or comments? Councillor Hall.
Whilst I appreciate the motion put forward, I do support actually the recommendation that's in the report. I think council over the last at least 12 months, if not more, last few years, we have continually engaged with pop-ups, with events, with meeting with stakeholders. We've spent $117,000 on our community vision document, which covers many of comments around that could be included in the council plan. And to be quite honest, I don't see the need to go out. I think the document that the recommendation put forward is adequate.
Councillor Hall, just to be clear, are you moving an alternative motion there, or are you just speaking?
No, I'm just speaking against the motion.
Good,
yep.
Thank you. Before I go to the mover, any other? Thank you, Councillor Quilty.
Look, I completely appreciate and understand the mover sentiment to integrate as much community feedback into our strategic documents as we can. Because we've had a very short sort of notice to consider this motion, I'm a little bit at a loss to what the current assumptions and principles actually miss and why we need to have the addition, what it actually achieves. I think that our community plan we only have one shot at the community plan, and we will receive the feedback from the community, and we will plan our next 4 years with consideration of that community feedback. However, the principles and the assumptions are based on a number of things that are not necessarily interfering with the community feedback, such as accounting standards, the rate cap, rate of inflation, and user fees and charges, statutory fines and fees, and a lot of things that we have no control over. And besides, every time we have budget deliberations or a policy review or a rating strategy, we have the opportunity to go back to the community and to receive their feedback on a particular document. I believe that a financial plan, revenue and rating plan, annual budget, they're all things that are hanging off our council plan. But council plan is a big strategic document, is our vision for the 4 years. And what we're talking here is sort of I don't think that we will, I'm not necessarily against this proposition, but I just fail to see the necessity of it, given that community feedback will be better targeted for each of the strategic documents that are listed here, and we're not going to lose anything by not changing the recommendation in front of us. So perhaps if the mover would like to respond to that or not, but that's my understanding at the moment.
So inviting the Deputy Mayor as the mover to respond.
Thank you. Yes, look, I think it's to strengthen. I understand what you're saying, Councillor Quilty. I do know that there will be touchstones into the community in developing the council plan. However, they're usually reflective of a draft that has already been put out there, and I think that it's important that I'm making the principle that community is participatory in the process. And if I take you to the principle again on page 7, that the budget must align with the council plan, and then take you to section 90 of the Local Government Act, that a council must prepare and adopt a council plan for at least 4 years after a general election in accordance with its deliberative engagement practice, meaning that this process of developing a council plan is actually intended to be deliberative, and that is that it has a meaningful exchange with council, between council and community in its development.
Thank you. May I, since we suspended standing orders, I can't cite local government by heart yet, but I believe the same section defines the deliberative engagement as what is in the council community engagement policy. So please correct me if I'm wrong, but my recollection is deliberative engagement policy is not detailed in the Act, and may be detailed in the council, in particular council's policy. Is that correct?
Councillor Scully, would you, Officer Scully, there you go. Would you?
I'll take it on advice.
Through you, Mr Mayor, yes, that is correct. Deliberative engagement under the Act is in accordance with our community engagement policy.
Right.
And again, perhaps a good idea for us to revisit our community engagement policy if councils wish to do so. And I think from what council counts, and there might be a wish there, and perhaps in looking at community engagement policy and how we do deliberative engagement and receiving community feedback to what we're doing or what we propose to do, would be a better way to approach it, instead of changing the assumptions and principles now. Again, not trying to kill the proposition, but just putting things out there and making sure we look at the complete picture and the most efficient ways to strike our goals. So yeah, whatever everyone thinks, something to consider.
Thank you, Councillor Courtney. Any other questions or comments of councillors?
I just want to say thank you for the general discussion and being able to make an informed decision and hear both sides before I.
Thank you, Councillor Seymour. Well, if there aren't any further questions or comments, can we have a mover for reinstating standing orders so we can go to a vote?
Hang on, may I foreshadow if this motion, if the motion with amendment doesn't go through, I foreshadow moving as per recommendation.
Right.
Thank you.
Right, thank you. So first of all, move about reinstating standing orders. Thank you. Sorry? Yeah, so all those in favour of reinstating standing orders? It's carried unanimously, thank you. So the Deputy Mayor has put a motion before us, which we'll take to a vote. So all those in favour? So that's Deputy Mayor Cowan, Councillor Seymour, Councillor Goble, all those against, Councillor Hall, Councillor Naughty, so the motion is carried. Thank you very much, councillors. Which now leads us to confidential business, and there is none. Which then leads us to the closing of the meeting. So we just call the meeting closed at 1:16. Thank you very much, councillors, and thank you for those online who are participating and watching this meeting. Thank you.